Okay, let's go to the next sutta. Sampasadaniya Sutta. It's about supreme, serene faith. Thus have I heard. It's Sutta 28. Thus have I heard. Once the Lord was staying at Nalanda in Pavarika's mango grove, and the venerable Sariputta came to see the Lord, saluted him, sat down to one side and said, "It is clear to me, Lord, that there never has been, never will be, and is not now another ascetic or Brahmin who is better or more enlightened than the Lord." And the Buddha said, "You have spoken boldly with a bull's voice, Sariputta. You have roared the lion's roar of certainty. How is this? Have all the Arahant Buddhas of the past appeared to you, and were the minds of all those lords open to you, so as to say, these lords were of such virtue, such was their teaching, such their wisdom, such their way, such their liberation?" And he replied, "No, Lord." And the Buddha said, "And have you perceived all the Arahant Buddhas who will appear in the future?" And he said, "No, Lord." And the Buddha continued, "Well then, Sariputta, you know me as the Arahant Buddha, and you know the Lord is of such virtue, such is teaching, such is wisdom, such is way, such is liberation." And again he said, "No, Lord." And the Buddha said, "So Sariputta, you do not have knowledge of the minds of the Buddhas of the past, future or present. Then Sariputta, have you not spoken boldly with a bull's voice, and roared the lion's roar of certainty with your declaration?" And Venerable Sariputta said, "Lord, the minds of the Arahant Buddhas of the past, future and present are not open to me, but I know the drift of the Dhamma, Lord. Lord, it is as if there were a royal frontier city with mighty bastions and a mighty encircling wall, in which was a single gate, at which was a gatekeeper, wise, skilled and clever, who kept out strangers and let in those he knew. And he, constantly patrolling and following along a path, might not see the joints and clefts in the bastion, even such as a cat might creep through. But whatever larger creatures entered or left the city must all go through this very gate. And it seems to me, Lord, that the drift of the Dhamma is the same. All those Arahant Buddhas of the past attained to supreme enlightenment by abandoning the 5 hindrances, defilements of mind which weaken understanding, having firmly established the 4 foundations of mindfulness in their minds, and realized the 7 factors of enlightenment as they really are. All the Arahant Buddhas of the future will do likewise, and you, Lord, who are now the Arahant Sammasambuddha, have done the same." So the Venerable Sariputta says that there cannot be another Sammasambuddha which is more enlightened than the Buddha. And when the Buddha asked him, "How do you know that? Can you read the minds of the Buddhas, past, present and future?" And he said, "No." But he explained that he knows that all Buddhas attain enlightenment in the same way by abandoning the 5 hindrances, practicing the 4 intense states of mindfulness, Satipatthana, the 7 Bojjhanga, just like the present Buddha. So at the most, he's saying they can only equal our Buddha Sakyamuni, Buddha Gautama. They cannot be higher. And he continued, Venerable Sariputta. "So I came once to the Blessed Lord to listen to Dhamma, and the Blessed Lord taught me Dhamma most excellently and perfectly, contrasting the dark with the light. And as he did so, I gained insight into that Dhamma. And from among the various things I established one in particular, which was serene confidence in the teacher, that the Blessed Lord is a fully enlightened Buddha, that the Dhamma is well taught by the Blessed Lord, and that the Sangha of monks is well trained." Stop here for a moment. So here he's saying that from the Dhamma teaching of the Buddha, he has serene confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Also, Lord, the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the wholesome factors is unsurpassed. That is to say, the 4 intense states of mindfulness, the 4 right efforts, the 4 bases of psychic power, the 5 spiritual faculties, the 5 mental powers, the 7 factors of enlightenment, and the Noble Eightfold Path. By these a monk, through the destruction of the asavas, can, in this very life, by his own super knowledge, realize and attain the corruption-free liberation by mind and liberation by wisdom, and abide therein. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the wholesome factors. This the Blessed Lord fully comprehends, and beyond it lies nothing further to be comprehended. And in such understanding, there is no ascetic or Brahmin who is greater or more enlightened than the Blessed Lord as regards the wholesome factors. Similarly here, he's saying that all the Buddhas also attain these 4 intense states of mindfulness, 4 efforts, etc., just like the Buddha. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the elucidation of the sense spheres. There are the 6 internal and external sense bases, eye and visible objects, ear and sounds, nose and smells, tongue and taste, body and tactiles, mind and mind objects. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the sense spheres. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the modes of rebirth in 4 ways. Thus, one descends into the mother's womb unknowing, stays there unknowing, and leaves it unknowing. That is the first way. Or one enters the womb knowing, stays there unknowing, and leaves it unknowing. This is the second way. Or one enters the womb knowing, stays there knowing, and leaves it unknowing. That is the third way. Or one enters the womb knowing, stays there knowing, and leaves it knowing. That is the fourth way. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the modes of rebirth. Stop here for a moment. So here, what the Venerable Sariputta is saying is like what the Buddha said, that there is a being that enters the womb, and it doesn't matter what you call it, whether you call it the soul, or you call it a intermediate body, or you call it a Gandhabba. They all mean the same thing, and it's just how do you say, a transitory body, transition state, where this being exists for a short while before it enters the womb. Once it enters the womb, then it's born as a human. So, because it's a very temporary state, the Buddha has not designated it as another destination of rebirth. That is all, just because it's very short time there. So, of course, in the Abhidhamma, they don't acknowledge that there is such a thing that enters the womb. They say nothing enters the womb. The consciousness just starts. But from here, it's very clear that something clearly enters the womb. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the telling of thoughts in 4 ways. Thus, one tells by a visible sign, saying, "This is what you think, this is in your mind, your thought is like this." And however much one declares, it is so and not otherwise. That is the first way. Or one tells not by a visible sign, but through hearing a sound made by humans, non-humans or devas. This is the second way. Or one tells not by a sound uttered, but by applying one's mind and attending to something conveyed by sound. This is the third way. Or one tells not by any of these means, when one has attained a state of mental concentration without thought directed and sustained, by divining another's thoughts in one's mind, and one says, as far as so-and-so's mind force is directed, so his thoughts will turn to that thing. And however much one declares it, it is so and not otherwise. This is the fourth way. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the telling of thoughts in 4 ways. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the attainment of vision in 4 ways. Here some ascetic of Brahmin, by means of ardor, endeavor, application, vigilance and due attention, reaches such a level of concentration that he considers just this body, upwards from the soles of the feet and downwards from the crown of the head, enclosed by the skin and full of manifold impurities. In this body there are head hairs, body hairs, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bones, bone, marrow, kidney, heart, liver, pleura, spleen, lung, mesentery, bowel, stomach, excrement, bile, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tear, tallow, saliva, snot, synovic fluid, urine. That is the first attainment of vision. Again, having done this and gone further, he contemplates the bones covered with skin, flesh and blood. This is the second attainment. Again, having done this and gone further, he comes to know the unbroken stream of human consciousness as established both in this world and in the next. That is the third attainment. Again, having done this and gone still further, he comes to know the unbroken stream of human consciousness that is not established either in this world or in the next. That is the fourth attainment of vision. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the attainment of vision. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the designation of individuals. There are these 7 types. The both ways liberated, Ubato Bhaga Vimutta. The wisdom liberated, Ceto, wisdom, Panya Vimutta. The body witness, Kaya Sakin. The vision attainer, Ditthipata. The faith liberated, Saddha Vimutta. The Dhamma follower or devotee, Dhammanusarin. The faith devotee or faith follower, Saddhanusarin. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the designation of individuals. Let's stop here for a moment. These last 7 types of individuals mentioned are the 7 types of Aryans. This is mentioned in the Kitagiri Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, number 70. And according to Anguttara Nikaya, the first 2, Ubato Bhaga Vimutta, the both ways liberated, is similar to the mind liberated, liberation by mind, Ceto Vimutta, is an Arahant. The second one is also an Arahant, Panya Vimutta, wisdom liberated. The third, Kaya Sakin, 4th and 5th, Kaya Sakin, Ditthipata and Saddha Vimutta. According to the Anguttara Nikaya 3.21, they are either the second fruit, third fruit or fourth path attainer. And then the last 2 are the first path attainers. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the exertions. There are these 7 factors of enlightenment: mindfulness, investigation of Dhamma, energy, delight, tranquility, concentration and equanimity. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the exertions. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the modes of progress, which are 4. Painful progress with slow comprehension, painful progress with quick comprehension, pleasant progress with slow comprehension, pleasant progress with quick comprehension. In the case of painful progress with slow comprehension, progress is considered poor on account of both painfulness and slowness. In the case of the painful progress with quick comprehension, progress is considered poor on account of painfulness. In the case of pleasant progress with slow comprehension, progress is considered poor on account of slowness. In the case of pleasant progress with quick comprehension, progress is considered excellent on account of both pleasantness and quick comprehension. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the modes of progress. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to proper conduct in speech. How one should avoid not only any speech involving lying, but also speech that is divisive or sneeringly triumphant, but should use wise words, words to be treasured, words in season. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to proper conduct in speech. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to a person's proper ethical conduct. One should be truthful and faithful, not using deception, patter, hinting or belittling, not always on the make for further gains, but with sense doors guarded, abstemious, that means moderate, not self-indulgent. A peacemaker, given to watchfulness, active, strenuous in effort, a meditator, mindful, of fitting conversation, steady going, resolute and sensible, not hankering after sense pleasures, but mindful and prudent. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to a person's proper ethical conduct. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to modes of receptivity to instruction, of which there are 4. The Blessed Lord knows by His own skilled observation that one will, by following instructions, by the complete destruction of 3 fetters, become a stream winner, no more subject to rebirth in lower worlds, firmly established, destined for full enlightenment. That one will, by following instructions, by the complete destruction of 3 fetters and the reduction of greed, hatred and delusion, become a once returner, and having returned once more to this world, will put an end to suffering. That one will, by following instructions, by the complete destruction of the 5 lower fetters, be spontaneously reborn, and there will reach Nibbana without returning from that world. That one will, by following instructions, by the destruction of the asavas, gain in this very life the deliverance by mind, the deliverance by wisdom, which is uncorrupted, and which one has understood and realized by one's own super knowledge. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the modes of receptivity to instruction. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the knowledge of the liberation of others. The Blessed Lord knows by His own skilled observation that one will, by the complete destruction of 3 fetters, become a stream winner. That one, with the reduction of greed, hatred and delusion, will become a once returner. By the complete destruction of the 5 lower fetters, that one will be spontaneously reborn. By the destruction of the asavas, he will gain in this very life the liberation by mind, the liberation by wisdom, which is uncorrupted. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the doctrine of eternalism. There are 3 such theories. Here some ascetic or Brahmin, by means of ardor, endeavor, etc., recall various past existences up to several 100,000 births, as in Sutta number 1. In this way he remembers the details of his various past lives, and he says, I know the past, whether the universe was expanding or contracting, but I do not know the future, whether it will expand or contract. The self and the world are eternal, barren, steady as a mountain peak, rooted like a pillar. Beings run on, transmigrate, pass away and re-arise, yet these persist eternally. Number 2, again some ascetic or Brahmin recalls various existences up to 20 aeons. Number 3, again some ascetic or Brahmin recalls various existences up to 10, 20, 30, 40 aeons. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the doctrine of eternalism. These are all mentioned in Digha Nikaya Sutta number 1. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to past lives. Here some ascetic or Brahmin recalls various past existences, 1 birth, 2 births, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1,000, 100,000 lives, many aeons of contraction, of expansion, of contraction and expansion. Then I was called so and so. This was my clan, my caste. I ate this, had these happy and unhappy experiences, lived for so long. And when I passed away from there, I was reborn in such and such circumstances. Passing away from there, I was reborn here. In this way, he remembers the details of his various past lives. There are devas whose lifespan is not to be reckoned by counting or computation. Yet whatever existence they have previously experienced, whether in the world of form or in the formless world, whether conscious, unconscious, or neither conscious nor unconscious, they remember the details of those past lives. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to remembrance of past lives. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the knowledge of the death and rebirth of beings. Here some ascetic or Brahmin attains to such concentration of mind that he sees with the divine eye, purified and surpassing that of humans, beings passing away and arising, base and noble, well-favored and ill-favored, to happy and unhappy destinations as karma directs them. And he knows these beings, on account of misconduct of body, speech or thought, or disparaging the noble ones, have wrong view and will suffer the coming fate of wrong view. At the breaking up of the body after death, they are reborn in a lower world, a bad destination, a state of suffering, hell. But these beings, on account of good conduct of body, speech or mind, of praising the noble ones, have right view and will reap the karmic reward of right view. At the breaking up of the body after death, they are reborn in a good destination, a heavenly world. Thus, with the divine eye, purified and surpassing that of humans, he sees beings passing away and re-arising. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to knowledge of the death and birth of beings. Also unsurpassed is the Blessed Lord's way of teaching Dhamma in regard to the supernormal powers. These are of two kinds. There is the kind that is bound up with the asavas and with attachment, which is called un-Aryan. And there is the kind that is free from the asavas and not bound up with attachment, which is called Aryan. What is the un-Aryan supernormal power? Here some ascetic or Brahmin enjoys various supernormal powers. Being one, he becomes many. Being many, he becomes one. He appears and disappears. He passes through fences, walls, and mountains unhindered as if through air. He sinks into the ground and emerges from it as if it were water. He walks on the water without breaking the surface as if on land. He flies cross-legged through the sky like a bird with wings. He even touches and strokes with his hand the sun and moon, mighty and powerful as they are. And he travels in the body as far as the Brahma world. That is the un-Aryan supernormal power or psychic power. And what is the Aryan supernormal power? Here among, if he wishes, let me abide with the disgusting, not feeling disgust, can so abide. And if he wishes, let me abide with the non-disgusting, feeling disgust, he can so abide. Also feeling either disgust or non-disgust in the presence of both, or ignoring both the disgusting and the non-disgusting, may I abide in equanimity, mindful and clearly aware. He can so abide. That is the Aryan supernormal power that is free from the asavas and not bound up with attachment. This is the unsurpassed teaching in regard to the supernormal powers. This the Blessed Lord fully comprehends, and beyond it lies nothing further to be comprehended. And in such understanding, there is no other ascetic or Brahmin who is greater or more enlightened than the Blessed Lord as regards the supernormal powers. Stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says the un-Aryan supernormal power is psychokinesis, being able to multiply the body, being able to pass through walls, to sink into the ground and come up, to walk on water, to fly cross-legged through the sky, to touch the sun and moon, to fly with the human body as far as the Brahma world. This is all the Buddha calls un-Aryan supernormal power. But the Aryan supernormal power to the Buddha is the full control of the feelings. So if you are with something disgusting, the Arahant, for example, he is sitting among all corpses, smelly and bloated and rotting, all disgusting corpses. If he decides they are not disgusting at all, then he can feel that they are all so nice around him. On the other hand, if he is with something non-disgusting, for example, with all the Miss Universe around him, with all the Devis around him, he can feel disgust if he wants to. And then in the presence of both, he can feel disgust or non-disgust, or he can feel equanimous without the feelings moving at all. So full control of the feelings to the Buddha is Aryan supernormal power, because if we are moved by our feelings, then we suffer. But if we are master of our feelings, then nothing can make us suffer.